Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and it's time to start wrapping up the year.
It's the top 21 cards of 2021.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds. We got daily content. Happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is today, because we're making videos every single day. You can support us on Patreon, because it's the best way to do that. Links in the description.
Yes, that is obviously direct money is the best way to support the channel. We put it back in the channel, and we make this channel better for you. And guess what? We also have 2 affiliate links. TCGplayer.com is the first of those affiliate links. Go there, buy all the Magic cards you were going to buy anyway. Spend $0 extra. And guess what? There's a cat meowing outside the door, but that's not relevant to what I'm about to say because actually we get kickback and you spend no extra money.
Same is true for the Dragon Shield EU and US links. You buy the best sleeves in the multiverse. Good sleeves. Tough as scales. It's a tertiary one. Once you buy those through the sites that we're linking you to from wherever you are, I guess only in the US and EU, wherever that might be, we get kickback on the order.
So today, we're looking at the whole year of 2021, and we're picking all of our favorite brand new cards, the ones that got printed this year, and we put them in a list. There's 21 here. We also have some honorable mentions. One thing I do want to say before we get into this I think is the year with the most printing of Magic cards ever. It's at least in the top 2 or 3 because we've had an insane amount of Magic cards. So obviously, all 21 of these, very strong Magic cards.
Yeah, we got Kaldheim, Strixhaven, Innistrad, Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt, a 5th one, Modern Horizons 2, and then there's like 17 Commander products. What set did I miss?
You said Strixhaven, Kaldheim, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Oh, it's hard to forget that one.
Yeah, so for honorable mentions, first thing, Snow Duels. They're some of the most important cards printed this year, but they're not necessarily the best. They just have types. They always enter tapped, but specifically for the enemy ones, really helpful for those decks to have a second fetch target that isn't Volcanic Islands.
Great for budget decks. I think these cards are fantastic for budget, and I'm really excited to This kind of stuff makes me want to make a budget deck now.
Yeah. Also, Grim Hireling, another one. This card, whenever you hit a player, you get a treasure. Now, this card is actually pretty strong, but we haven't had a chance to test it. And we're not positive how strong it really is. It might be too niche for this list also. Regardless of all that, still a great card. Wanted to mention it here. And I just wanted to shout out my favorite spell from this year. It was Fevered Suspicions. 8-mana spell. Has rebound, meaning you get to do it twice, and your opponents reveal from the top of the deck until they hit a non-land card, and you get the castles for free. I just love this card. I know it doesn't quite crack this top list, but chef's kiss for it.
It's not that close. Neither is my favorite card, Octavia Living Thesis. This card is so sweet. It makes me want to build a deck for it. Now that I'm thinking about it, definitely happening for a Shuffle Scuffle in the future. Definitely building an Octavia deck.
Yeah, this is a cool card. All right, so hopping in this list, number 21, by invitation only. 3 white for a sorcery. Choose a number between 0 and 13. 0 and 13 are included in those. Pick one of those numbers. Everybody sacrifices that many creatures. Very solid board wipe. Actually, funnily, it'd probably be higher on this list if not for the existence of, probably the best board wipe in Commander being printed this year.
Yes, no spoilers on that, so you'll see what that is later. But this card is kind of got one requirement. As long as you're going wide and you're going to have the most creatures, this is one of the best board wipes you can play because it's almost one-sided. If you got, let's say, 11 creatures and everybody else has 5 creatures, well, guess what? Number's 5. I'm going to keep my 6 best creatures and just smack you with it. That's what makes this card good.
Yeah, it's a very strong card, and like we like to mention with these board wipes, this gets around the classic destroy, so indestructible things with hexproof. It just gets around every one of those little things because making them sacrifice it, there's almost no way to avoid that.
Blightsteel Colossus becomes even worse.
Yes, it really does. So moving on, what is number 20?
Number 20 is Mirage Phalanx. It's 4 red for a 4/4. It's got Soul Bond, so when you pair it with a creature at the beginning of combat, you're going to get tokens of each of those creatures, the Phalanx and whatever you bonded with. They won't have Soul Bond, but then you get to smack with them, and they go away. I think this card has got a lot of potential. I really think it's very good and kind of this amazing commander card thrown into the set boosters, which they usually don't do, even though they've been making set booster cards a couple times now. I think this is a solid top end and win condition, basically.
Yeah, it is a good top end, and you add in the Infinite combo with Combat Celebrant, which that card goes in with a ham sandwich. But you add that into it, and guess what? It does just get that much better. It gives this card an extra bit of oomph to really combo off and win games. Like you said, top end for token. If you want to make big tokens, Brutaclad decks absolutely want this card.
Yeah, I played. Spoiler alert: my deck for the first episode of Shovel Scuffle, which I think is recorded, has Brutaclad in it, and I want to add this card at some point because it's 2 hasty creatures right away.
Yeah, it really is. It's a good card. Next, we have Angel of Ruins. This is 5 white for a creature artifact. I think it's an angel because it got those big old wings. But when it enters, you exile 2 artifacts or enchantments, and you have a 5/7 flyer, obviously, because that's really important. But it also has plane cycling for 2, and this card is just super solid. I've said this before, but white does not have a lot of get rid of the artifact and enchantment, so this is a nice role player for that. It cycles early game to get you a planes. It mana fixes you because if you don't know, plane cycling allows you to get any lands that has the type planes, so you can get dual lands, shock lands, anything like that.
What if you're on a budget?
Well, you can get the Snowdles actually from earlier in this video.
Wow, they're just so important. Anyway, I just want to comment that you said, I think this is an angel because it has wings.
It has big wings.
But I think it's an angel because it's called Angel of Ruins. Is what tipped me off to that. This card is good in artifact decks, reanimator decks, and flicker decks, and it plane cycles, so it's never dead. There's nothing else to say about this. We can go to number 18, Arqueomancer's Map. It's going to be a 3-mana artifact. ETB, you find 2 basic planes. So you're kind of up a card. You got some lands. And then whenever an opponent plays a land, if they have more than you get to drop one of your lands from your hand into play. So it's almost a guaranteed cultivate effect, and then from there, it's gravy.
Yeah, anything, like you said, anything extra after that is just going to be absolutely awesome for your deck. You just get to drop, your lands are all going to end up in play. This is a non-green card, specifically just a good white card. That's why it's not higher on this list. This isn't just a good overall card where you can just throw it in any deck. It is specific to certain white decks that don't have the ability to ramp otherwise.
And it's part of the reason white is starting to kind of climb up. And this is for a different video, but I think we would have argued even before this year that red was worse than white in Commander anyway. But we'll talk about it. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, it still feels like that is true. Moving on, number 17, Stinging Study. 4 and a black for an instant. You draw cards and lose life equal to your commander's converted mana cost, or mana value, as the kids say nowadays. This is just if your commander costs 5 or more, this is a great draw spell. You just don't get 5 for 5. That's not a rate that really exists on Magic cards. So the fact is, if you can get 6, 7, now it's getting crazy. That card's getting very strong.
Best friends with Villas. I mean, it's a draw 8 if Villas isn't in play, and if Villas is in play, it's a draw 16. It's just not even real. It's kind of strict. It's not like certain decks want this. No, it's really just who's your commander. That's it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what your strategy is per se. Is my commander's mana value 5 or greater? Okay, now I can consider this card.
Yeah.
Not that it goes in every single deck with a 5 or greater one, but as soon as you can start considering it, this card is very strong.
I could start seeing this, or I could see this go into things like Carador or Leisha. My commander's 8, but I'm never paying 8 for it, so I get to just cheat. I just get to play this thing.
Yeah, super strong card. Next, we have number 16, and it is Towskybearer of Secrets. It is a 4-mana 1/1. It's indestructible, and it has to attack each turn if able.
Can't be countered.
And it can't be countered, which is, also on the card.
Text.
It is text on the card. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It's really nice to have this on a creature. That's all there is to it. This ability has been great, and it's existed on a bunch of blue cards, and the enchantments are all good. Those are all good Magic cards. Now it's on a creature. For your creature deck, this card is absolutely great and a solid draw engine.
We never thought it was bad, but it's better than we initially had it. It's been very good. It's tough to kill, and it's not one of those higher tier things like, Blightsteel Colossus is hard to kill. This is just a 4-mana thing that basically provides immediate value since you have 3 opponents, and it comes down so early, you can even just punch somebody with Llanowar Elves and draw a card. That's pretty reasonable. This card does a lot of things.
Yeah, Towsky, super solid. I have it in my Stompy deck where I don't even go super wide. It still draws me a decent amount of cards. Just strong Magic card.
Exactly. Number 15 is Presmari Command. This is you shatter, make a treasure, faithless looting, or shock. That's what it is. It's an instant for 3 mana, and they're all just, those are okay. But I think the fact that you can do the Kolaghan's command mode of getting a 2-for-1 almost all the time, and make a treasure to ramp yourself into a bigger play, makes this card really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think this card is on the exact same plane as Kolaghan's Command.
Me too.
Where it's just like they're about the same power level. I think Kolaghan's Command is probably slightly better. The modes are a little better.
Well, it's tough because I think every mode on this is relevant, but Kolaghan's Command is a dead one with discard a card.
But they have,
Like Return a Creature is good as like a tertiary, or it's one of the ones used most. But I think like looting in the late game or making treasure could be better.
BC is that the second time you used tertiary in this video? I think it is.
Yeah, it's a good word.
It is a good word.
It's an apt word apparently.
Very solid
today.
word. Presmari Command. Chef's kiss to you. Next, Circle of Dreams Druid. Green for a power and toughness that could not matter less.
2/1.
That's actually what I was going to say, but I didn't want to guess. Tap it. Gaia's Cradle, baby. Make a green for each creature you control. The reason this is so low on the list is only because it costs green. This is a 3 mana dork, which is rough. But the fact is, if it gets going, it's going to be completely bonkers. You're going to be tapping it for 6-7 mana.
Yeah, sometimes the like Somberwald Sages of the world don't really cut it. They're like, oh, 3 mana, okay, creature. Now I have to make 3 mana after that. But this is like the ceiling is way higher. And this, spoiler alert, is the best AFR could do because that set sucked.
Yeah, that set was not very good. But this card is very good.
Solid.
This just is good.
Coming up next is Damn from Modern Horizons 2. Black, destroy a creature, can't be regenerated. Or 2 white, destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated.
That's number 13 for you folks that are wondering. Yeah, this is just this is an insanely strong board wipe. The only reason it doesn't sneak higher into this list is because this list is very strong, and there's so many just single color stapley cards that can go in way more decks. This card's strength in the decks it can go in is incredibly high. It is one of the best board wipes you can play. The versatility just takes it from when I don't need a board wipe, I have spot removal. And that's the weakness of board wipes is when you don't need a board wipe, you have a bad card in your hand. Not with Damn. Damn just overcomes that problem right away.
You can like cycle it as a crappy Doomblade, which is a nice extra mode to have if you need to sneak something through. Best 4 mana board wipe?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is the
rest of them are all just the same cards. So.
I mean, they're all good. They're like 4 mana is the going rate for a board wipe. Like a destroy all creatures. 4 mana is the rate you want to be paying in Commander because you got like 4 or 5 of them at that. Damn, yeah, I think it's just the best one if you can afford to play it in your deck because you're in black and white.
Speaking of board wipes, number 12, Clouth's Will. You're paying X red, green, and then you're going to either destroy X artifacts or enchantments, or if you have your commander, you can choose both. Deal X damage to each creature without flying. If your deck has flyers, then this is just a one-sided wipe. If it doesn't, you get to scale it and choose whatever you want. Like, oh, X is 3 because there's a bunch of tokens in play, and I'll keep my giant monsters. Thank you very much. And then also, you know what? I have my commander, so snipe this artifact, snipe this enchantment, snipe your Soul Ring.
Yeah, if you can getting both modes incredibly strong. Obviously, if you're going, you want to be able to generate a good amount of mana with this card. It is very mana intensive, as three before you start putting in decks is pretty heavy. So if you know you'll have the mana for this card, it's great. And if your commander has flying, that's just bonus on top of this not getting hit.
That's the thing about this card is I don't even know if you need that much mana. I'm pretty happy just sinking 5 into this and going, all right, Pyroclasm and then 2 for 1. It's like Heliod's Intervention, but you pay 1 mana to wipe all the tokens off.
Yeah, that's fair. And that's when you have your commander. Yeah, absolutely, that's true. I think I was thinking more you want to be able to put a decent amount of mana into this when you don't have your commander to make sure the spell is good, because the Pyroclasm is not very good and the Destroying 2 isn't very good. But I guess when you get them together, it's great. So if you don't have your commander, you want to put a lot of mana in this. But if you have your commander, you can probably afford to put less mana into it.
If you have your commander, it'll just be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. The card is good.
Number 11. This is 3 cards. I don't know. Like, we have our top 100 blue cards coming out, and they're going to be ranked on here. But guess what? They're not in any order. Commander's Insight, Diviner's Portent, Drown in Dreams. They all are X, 3 mana, and they say you draw X cards plus some upside. And they're all pretty good upsides, so we're putting them all on here.
Yeah.
Sue us.
The upsides are, let's just go over them really quickly. Drown in Dreams, you control your commander. You can mill somebody.
Twice X.
Yeah. Diviner's Portent, you get to...
Scry X?
You roll a 20-sider. If it's over 15, you get to Scry X, and you add your hand size to that. So, that one's... If you could reliably hit that one's insane.
Like Scry 4, draw 4, for 7.
That's that good. Yeah, it is. And the other one is you draw equal number of times you've cast your commander.
Plus X.
So that you just draw extra cards with this. but all of them are really good. I mean, to be fair, they're incredibly close. They're all Blue Sun Zenith-esque effects, and they're all just good. This is a good rate to draw on an X spell.
You can almost say every blue deck I ever build is going to have one of these, and one of them will probably fit what you're doing. They cast a pretty wide net overall, and they're all really good. What is number 10?
Number 10 is a cycle. It is the slow lands. This is a cycle of dual lands that say they come in untapped if you control 2 other lands as you play it. So that's pretty simple. That's most of an EDH game. Not turn 1, not turn 2. Guess what? As soon as you hit turn 3, these come in untapped. They're just dual lands from that point forward. These are some of the best lands in Commander. They're absolutely awesome.
If you don't have a collection of slow lands and snowlands, but you should seriously buy these if they're low enough. I think they're so good. They're like, especially non-CDH, which is what we're talking about. They're like the 5th best dual land cycle now, and they're dirt cheap, and I think they're going to be great.
Yeah, they are just great. I mean, I don't even think there's no doubt about that. I mean, any 2-color deck absolutely wants this every 110% of the time. And I think I am on the point where I'm still on them for 3-color decks. I mean, I am a low basic count guy, so like
me too.
I really go in on the like I usually have the shocks, the fetches. Which I know, and everyone has fetches. Fetches are very expensive. I understand that. But the shocks are actually higher than some of the fetches, which is crazy to think about.
I think that just means some of the fetches aren't that expensive.
Yeah, that might be true. And then there's like 2 more. I can't even think of them right now. But the slow lands are all making my deck currently.
Okay, yeah. What about slow lands?
Slow lands. What'd I say?
You said snow lands.
Yeah, the slow lands are all making my decks currently.
The slow and the snow. Number 9, Welcoming Vampire. 2/3 for 3. Whenever one or more other creatures with power 2 or less enter under your control, each turn for the first time, you draw a card. It's going to replace itself almost immediately. Don't play it if you don't have a follow-up. Once you do, boom, replaces itself. You can make tokens an instant speed. Gravy. If not, just draw an extra card every turn in white on a creature.
Yeah, this card is just super good. The effects, even though it's draw once a turn, the fact that you get to get it before having to go a full go around the table. Now, sometimes you might want to play it out. Sometimes this is like, hey, this is my turn 3 play. I don't have a follow-up. And yeah, I'll put it in danger because I want to be mana efficient. But most of the time you get to go Welcoming Vampire, Esper Sentinel, boom, draw a card. And now I'm just in great shape because I'm replacing my cards, which white couldn't do before.
Yeah, white getting some more card draw. How about number 8? This one might surprise people.
I could have fought for it to be higher because honestly this card has been insane every time I've seen it. It is Tireless Provisionary. It's a 3-mana 3/2 landfall. You get either a food, which you're never taking, or a treasure. Okay, at landfall, get a permanent. Obviously, permanents matter a lot. This is I think this card is better than Lotus Cobra, which is saying something because Lotus Cobra is a great card.
And you have to pay an extra mana for it. So it's like, I'm saying this 3-mana 3/2 is better than the 2-mana 2/1 version. Sometimes you can't use Lotus Cobra mana. I've seen it go to waste plenty of times, and this is like, nope, here you go, store it, get rid of it. If you answer my Tireless Provisioner, I still made 3 treasures off of it. I'm going to cast an 8-drop next turn. Just fantastic card. Works so freaking well with fetch lands.
This one's just kind of crazy. It's just like you said, it is a shocky one because it's like when I saw this card in Modern Horizons, it definitely did not crack our top 10 for Modern Horizons because we did. It's just like,
I mean, that's a stacked set.
It's just like, yeah, the stacked set, and we're looking at rares. When you take a look at a new set, yeah, you look at the uncommons, you look at the commons, but you gloss over them. You go.
I saw this card, didn't think it was that great.
Exactly. You just gloss over them and go, yeah, that's a fine card. It's kind of cool, but it's like, no. Okay, here's something for you. I think this card is better than Tireless Tracker.
Tough sell for me, buddy.
It might be a tough
sell.
It might be a tough sell, but I honestly do believe that. What do we have next on this list, BZ?
Well, number 7, it's another Modern Horizons card. I hope you like hearing about those because there's a few in a row. Solitude, 5-mana 3/2 lifelink flash, enters your Swords to Plowshare or something. And that's already solid, but you can cast it for free if you exile a white card. So this is perfect with Flicker. If you're going to cast it for free, get the Swords to Plowshares, exile something, flicker this, do it again, and then your creature stays to be flickered again. This card is so good. It's good in Flicker. It's good in Reanimator. It's just a good stopgap to have so you can't lose to some weird creature combo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very strong card. The fact that the being able to cast it for free takes this card from a medium 5-mana flash spell that you'll play sometimes and it's not that good to okay, this card's amazing. 0-mana interaction is very, very good. Period. The less mana you can pay to interact, Doesn't matter if you 2-for-1 yourself, because now you get to tap out, advance your board state. You've put everything out that you were going to play anyway, and still have interaction up. We know this is force negation. We've been seeing this for years. Now we have a white one. It's great.
Yeah, this is as close as white's going to get to that, and it can save ya butt. What about number 6?
Well, it's another Modern Horizons card. It's Urza's Saga. It's a land. It's a saga. Super weird card. Enters the battlefield. It makes it so it taps for mana. Then for the next 2 turns, it can tap to make constructs. And when you sacrifice it on the 3rd mode, search your library. Get a what do you get? You get a
non-creature artifact.
A non-creature artifact with converted mana cost 0, not converted mana cost, with mana value, the exact mana cost of 0 or 1.
Yeah, it is mana cost.
It is mana cost. You have to get the exact mana cost of 0 or 1. You get Soul Ring. You get Mana Crypt 90% of the time. There's even other cards like Skull Clamp that are busted in this format to get. The fact is, it doesn't matter that it's sacrificed after that like a Saga does, because if you would miss the land, guess what? You get Soul Ring, and now you have 2 lands in its place.
It's the same thing. Now my land taps for 2. That's the worst case scenario on this land. There's also, we have Mana Crypt, we have Soul Ring, we have Skull Clamp, we have, you can even play, this can let you get toolboxy a little bit. Oh, I'll throw a Soul Guide Lantern in there. We already have Sensei's Divining Top. So many different things. Wayfarer's Bauble, just literally replace the land, and you get your constructs as a bonus. I think this card is amazing. I hate the design of it, but that's completely independent of how good it is.
Yeah, exactly. The design is kind of but like you said, it doesn't change the fact that this card is completely insane. The thing that really takes this card from being like a fine card in Commander is the fact that Soul Ring won't leave this format for some ungodly reason.
I wish it would. Once it does, we'll reevaluate.
Yeah, I don't think this card is very good if Soul Ring's not in this format. But that being said, Soul Ring is in this format. This card's amazing.
Here we go. Number 5. Guess what? Modern Horizons. Dothi Voidwalker this time. 2 mana for a 3/2. Your opponent's cards, they just don't go into their graveyard anymore. They go to exile instead, and then they basically get a void counter on them, which means I can cast them for free if I just trade the Voidwalker for one of them. This is nuts. This card is like a really efficient hate bear that you can honestly throw in any deck, and it'll just perform very well. Has extra synergies, but you don't even need them because it shuts off certain synergies. It shuts off certain strategies. Just as a 2 mana 3/2, it's unblockable as a bonus, and then you're going to cash it in for a better than a card.
Yeah, see, I thought this card was just okay when it first came out, but after seeing how it plays, this card just plays a lot better than I thought it would. It's just a 2 mana hate bear. That's the floor. That people don't get to put stuff in their graveyards anymore. That's the floor. And guess what? If someone has to discard or somebody makes a wheel, suddenly this card has access to a ton of different cards. They discard a 10 mana spell. Well, guess what? Sacrificing this to play that 10 mana spell now, card is just good. It's a very, very strong Magic card. And I was definitely too low on it in the beginning.
So everybody was too high on it for Modern, because it turns out it's like meh. And then for Commander, everyone was too low on it.
Yeah. I actually, I remember this specifically. Sheldon Menery said this was the best card from the set, and we went, no. What are you talking about? No way. I mean, I still don't think it's the best card from the set.
No,
but we weren't even close to it's like I don't even know this card's that good. But we've come around.
We've come around that it's one of the better cards from the set, but I don't think there's an argument for that it's better than the next 2 Modern Horizons cards on here. The first one is number 4, Esper Sentinel. It's a 1 mana 1/1. Every time they play their first non-creature spell, each turn, not even on their own turn, if they don't pay mana equal to this thing's power, I draw a card as a white creature.
It's a 1-drop.
Drop.
The thing that, like I didn't think this card was that good because I'm like, oh man, then I have to pay once? That's like nothing. That's nothing to pay. Mm-hmm. It turns out it doesn't matter. This is a 1 mana 1/1.
The investment is nothing. As soon as they pay 1, they've paid the same amount of mana as you.
And I love that this adds to your packages, your Ranger and your Ranger Captain of Eos.
If I needed any more excuse to love Ranger of Eos and Ranger Captain, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, it adds to that package. This card it's just one of the best white 1-drops. The card draw is amazing, and you can throw it in any of your white decks, and it'll just perform well.
Totally. Number 3. Oh wait, this is an AFR Commander card, not the actual set. That set still had nothing in it. Druid of Purification. It's a 4 mana 4/3. I think it's a human. It doesn't look like a human, but it ETBs, and now you and each opponent get to destroy an artifact or enchantment you don't control. It doesn't even target. They just have to say, Druid either resolves or it doesn't, and then once it resolves, 4 things die.
You choose.
You don't control them.
There's no targeting on this card. Why is there no targeting on this card? I had to read it when it was cast the one time. They're like, yep, so we choose them. I'm like, wait, you don't choose. You choose targets, right? Because there are cards that say choose. That says choose targets. No. You just choose them. So kill the Sterling Grove. Why not?
So, like, for 1 more mana than Reclamation Sage, you can destroy 3 more things. And it's never something you control. How bad could that possibly be for you? When is that a downside?
There is no downside to that. The fact is, you don't care. If they're choosing not to do it, they're not taking free value. And if they're choosing to do it, you're getting free value.
The worst, like, what is everybody going to say no? And I still get a 4-mana 4/3 Rec Sage? Like, that is insane. The fact that it gets around Hexproof and Shroud and all this stuff is, watch out for, your Helix Pinnacle players. You just got dinged big time.
There's no chance that everyone says no. I could never foresee that happening.
Yeah, especially not the first time. Maybe if this is like being spammed, you can eventually be like, okay, forget it. But the first time, it is nuts. This card is so good.
Number 2, it's really boring. It's Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. Card is insane. It says it's a land. It says all lands are forest. That's simple. That basically all lands tap for green, and if you care
in addition to
the
card's
other
busted if it's all lands are forest.
You know what I meant. All lands are forest in addition to their other types. But the simple fact of the matter is this just isn't auto-include in pretty much every single green deck made from here until the end of time.
Yeah, if we're talking about percentage of decks played, this is not even close. The most playable card from Modern Horizons, or let's say the most playable card of the year. It realistically, if it costs $0 and everyone got one for free, could be in like 85% of green decks. It has synergy and benefits just like Urborg does in mono green, and then every single other green deck can just play it and be fixed for green for the rest of the game.
See, I think your number is low.
It might be. Yeah,
85. If everybody had access to Yavimaya, it probably goes in about 96, 97% of green decks. It'd be rare to not have it. I mean, even in like you said, in your mono green decks, unless you're all forest, like all basic forest, you have utility lands. You have things that aren't forest that you can make forest, and then you have the synergies with anything that says forest on it.
Well, it also lets you hold fetch lands to virtually gain life, or to like stack your landfall triggers for later. I have 2 fetch lands in play. I'll wait till I draw a tireless provisioner, then I'll fetch.
Yeah, exactly. This just goes in so many decks, and even though it's not the most exciting number 2, it is rightfully number 2. The strength of this card is through the roof, and I guess the thing that this has is the opportunity cost is nothing.
Nothing.
It costs you nothing to play this card, and you gain a ton because your mana base just gets that much better.
Absolutely amazing card.
I literally stole. Me and BZ have opened 2 of these total.
Yeah. And
like you opened the one I would pack. I'm like, I'm taking that one. You're like, what? I opened it. I'm like, yeah, but you took the first one we opened and threw it in the deck, and I didn't blame you.
Card's fantastic. Play it forever. But number one of the whole year probably isn't even that much of a surprise because it's Vanquish the Horde. 6 white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. Costs 1 less for each creature in play though. So if there's any creatures worth killing, this costs white. What? That rate is amazing.
It's a 2-mana board wipe. I mean, this is plain and simple. I mean, Blasphemous Act is a 1-mana board wipe, and that card's insane.
Yeah.
This one costs less mana on the front side. Like, I mean, it costs less mana initially. So you only, after 6 creatures on the board, 6 creatures is nothing. Sometimes it feels like you don't get to 8. I feel like you always get to 6.
It's a free roll. What are you wiping if there's not 6 creatures in play?
Yeah, it's just white, destroy all creatures, and the fact of the matter is, a going rate for a board wipe, we already said this, is 4 mana. What if I reduce that by 2? Well, guess what? It's just one of the best board wipes ever printed.
I think it did dethrone Tragic Arrogance as the best white board wipe.
Yeah, so it's like, well, yeah, what are the best board wipes of all time? It's Vanquish the Horde. It's
Rift, Deluge, Blasphemous Act.
Deluge and Blasphemous Act. Wow, I like that spreads over 4 colors. That's pretty cool.
I think Arrogance might be number 5, but it's like those cards are just so useful and important. It's great.
Yeah, Vanquish the Horde is just such a nice tool to have in your arsenal. It's
staple. Just, plain simple.
Yeah, exactly. Plain and simple. This is a staple. But that is our video. Special shout outs to every single one of our patrons. We love you all as much as we can without making you comfortable. Obviously, we do not want to make you uncomfortable. Never would we. Thank you guys all for the support on patreon.com. Seriously, you guys are amazing.
Would also love if you went to the TCG Player link in the description, though, because you can never support us too much. So buy the cards you wanted to buy anyway, and then you get a kickback on the order by getting the cards you wanted, but not a literal kickback, because we get the literal kickback. It's going in our pockets. Thanks.
Yeah. That was a weird way to say that. You can also go to dragonshield.com, buy the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
Good sleeves. I think toughest scales, you're saying?
They were throwing that one around.
Yeah, that one's rough. Yeah, no one likes that one. But you can buy those sleeves, literally the best sleeves ever, and we just get a kickback. You spend no extra money. You get the sleeves you love, the best sleeves that I've literally ever used. Get them now and help us.
Straight from the source.
Yeah, straight from the source, straight from Dragon Shields, straight from our boy Jonas. Is that?
I would assume it's Jonas or Jonas. One of those two.
I know he actually watched our videos. I apologize for mispronouncing your name because I am awful.
I both mispronounced it and pronounced it correctly, so I am even. You can go to our Discord for memes, also Magic the Gathering talk, deck building, deck help, gameplay if you want to play with some people, voice chat, and among other things. So come hang out in there. There's like 4,000 people in there.
Yes, I have a tidbit. So do you remember, you know where Tops is now, right?
The store Tops?
It's the store Tops on Meadow Drive.
The grocery store?
It's a grocery store.
This is real specific. I do know Tops on Meadow Drive.
Okay, so do you know what used to be there?
No, I don't remember what used to be
Yeah,
there.
see, I didn't think so. I remember. So when I was really young, there was a store. It was basically like a Walmart type store called Hills.
Hills.
It was called Hills.
Okay.
And then after that, it was a place called Ames, which was basically another Walmart type store.
Okay.
But getting to the point, there was I don't know if you've ever seen or the things that you drop a coin in and they go in a circle until they go to the bottom, and it's basically like donating to charity, but it's fun for kids to watch.
Yeah.
Have you ever done those?
I have done those. They're all over the place. They are not exclusive to Hills.
Well,
I've seen them in malls and all this other stuff.
I know that they're not exclusive to those, but I was curious because my memory of them is from the store Hills, which is not a store anymore. It is a closed chain.
Right, and I'm not trying to critique anyone, but this maybe could have started with, hey, have you seen those big yellow tubes that spiral down when you donate coins? I saw one in an old store once.
No, Hills. Does anyone remember Hills?
This story seemed contingent on Hills.
Does anyone remember Hills or Ames?
Or those spinny donation things? They are yellow, right?
They're usually yellow. Yeah, they're usually yellow. I remember they had a dome over them, so you couldn't reach in and try and grab the money. But also, I remember when they didn't have a dome, what I would do is I'd put the coin in, and I'd try and grab before it went down.
You're Mr. Krabsing it for more spins.
And then do it again so I could see it spin more.
If you're only going to donate once and you still donate, that's about the same.
It's about the same. It's for my pleasure. I just want to watch it spin more.
I don't want to donate.
The whole goal when you had 2 coins was to get them going near each other. So when they got to the road,
oh yeah,
it looks so cool.
That's a strategy. I will say, if you want to see if you want to virtually imagine your coins going in a circle and then down a hole that leads directly to our ceiling and then falls through, TCG Player, we already mentioned it.
There's also remember Taco Bell also has you try and win a taco. It's a little thing. It's got water in it, and you drop a quarter in, and you can spin the little things that catch the quarter. And you gotta
kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it is the most impossible thing. Turns out, weirdly, I would assume a quarter would fall almost straight down. It goes like.
They got weird currents in there to mess you up.
Yeah, weird currents, and it makes that noise. It's unbelievable. Tribe Scouts.